your team, trade them out. Brag it to your mates like you never had a doubt. It's FMDT coming around for you.
This week we covered the action of rounds 5 and 6 in the draft league. Shane and I have lost our last 2 rounds of matches, and we dwell on that, as well as discussing all new position changes, injuries, and a general lack of luck. All on episode 4 of FMDT.
Coming around for you. FMDT, 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 coming right for you. FMDT, there's nothing you can do. FMDT, coming around for you.
Alright, welcome to FMDT. We're here on the couch. We've both losers this week. So we've both had a bit of a rough week. Some of us look like we've had it rougher than others though. What happened there, Shane?
Well, look, I was up in the coach's box. It was very frustrating. Jeremy Cameron got 7 points after halftime. Let's just say the wall is stronger than I am.
Oh, just finding that out for the first time.
We don't need to talk about it anymore than that.
Alright. So I don't really want to talk about my week too much either. So I think we'll just hand it over to 2 guys, 2 news anchors that might want to do that job for us. So Sean and Bart, over to you.
Well, thank you, Shane and Bart, in the draft hub. They are not very happy this week.
No, and what have you done to yourself?
This?
Yes, the massive cast.
No, I don't want to talk about my personal life.
Right, we would never do that. We're very professional, yeah.
Right, so in the Anzac round, it's a sure thing we're lucky to come up against a distracted Party of Fife, whose coach was off partying in Thailand. Having 3 non-playing players, 1 not covered by an emergency, Party of Fife could only manage a league low 12-42, with Sure Things scraping out a victory with the second lowest score of the week.
Quite low.
Quite low.
Had a good time with it. So the Danger Zone had another poor showing, culminating in their 5th loss in a row at the hands of DK Smash. The Smashers continue to reap the rewards of the league's most contentious trade, with Robbie Gray contributing a huge 125 towards their victory. That trade.
Xenophonophobia kept up their winning ways, taking down Murphy's Law by 32 points. Despite Joel Selwood scoring 175 points for the Law, 9 players scoring below 80 let them down.
And in the feature match, the El Clasico between I Shot the Sharon and Manic Barcelona, it turned out to be a one-sided affair. The Sharons had their 2nd lowest score of the season, which was also the highest score for the round, a 16-32, and kept themselves securely on top of the ladder.
And the Lynch Mob made it 2 wins in a row and contributed to Cornflake's miserable season with a tight 46-point victory. Zach Merritt, used to bailing Cornflakes out of trouble, was this time schooled by Adam Treloar, who racked up a mammoth 144 points to earn 3 votes and the victory.
Wow, certainly showed Zach Merritt how it's done.
Zach Merritt knows how it's done.
Well, obviously not. So, Too Delicious came close to Dunkin' Donuts, but Coach Alec held him off to win by 19 points. Delicious could have had the win with better team selection, leaving 214 points in their emergencies.
Well, we're actually being sponsored this week, so we should cut to our sponsors before we sum up round 6.
All right. When you can't seem to stop taking hits from injuries, there's only one fix you need to rely on. Trust Benel Aids.
Benel's Band-Aids? I give them 2 thumbs up!
Alright, thanks for that message. So, continuing on with round 6, Manic Barcelona had their best score for the season, a 16-14, which set them up for their third win for the season. A rare ton from Lachie Neale was one of the few shining lights on an otherwise forgettable day for It's a Shore thing.
Maybe he's going to come back. That Neale.
Might not be enough for him.
Well, after a winless start to the season, the Lynch Mob notched up their third win in a row, this time over the new league whipping boys, Party of Fife. The Fifes again having the lowest score of the round. Jack Silvani had the timeliest of injuries for the Lynch Mob, playing exactly 25% game time, with his 10 points being replaced on field by 106 from Tim Membry.
1% more.
Oh, that's very lucky.
Different story, very lucky. I Shot the Sharon had it all his own way against Murphy's Law. The quickly becoming unbackable premiership favourite flexed his muscle, especially in defence where he produced 107 average and scored over 1700 for the third time this season. Although it is still early, it is becoming increasingly difficult to see anyone who could stop this juggernaut.
107 average in defence.
Unheard of.
This year, especially. Wow.
Alright.
Well, DK Smash's biggest score of the year was enough to end Xenophonophobia's winning streak. Smash was led by a resurgent Gary Ablett and Cade Simpson, combining for 323 points, and a welcome return from keeper Isaac Heaney. While equal on wins now, Xenophonophobia are still holding on to second spot on the ladder by 200 points.
Just holding on.
Just.
Long way to go. Elsewhere, Too Delicious broke the 1600 barrier for the first time this week, only to be outclassed by a barnstorming Danger Zone, who broke through for their first win of the season. Despite a poor showing from Captain Dangerfield and a paltry 28 points from Castagna, a priceless 115 from free agent Ben Brown and Yo and Doherty, combining for a massive 311 points, led them to their maiden victory. Too Delicious are now left to lick their wounds after two demoralising defeats in a row.
In the final game, a battle of ex-housemate and food products, the coaches of Dunkin' Donuts and Cornflakes squared off last week. The Donuts barely had to break a sweat on their way to tasting sweet victory. However, their 7 tons were just icing on the cake. Cornflakes now sits bottom of the ladder and will have to hope things improve soon to save his soggy season. They will need to improve.
Might leave a bit of taste in his mouth.
Possibly. But on that note, I think we should go back to those guys.
Add more milk's gone sour.
Shane and Bart.
Thanks for that. Some good informative stuff. 2 rounds to catch up on. It's good.
Funny how that guy has also got a cast on.
It is very, very,
Yeah, uncanny. 2 injuries at the same time.
yeah. Well, I don't know, it's been 2 weeks. There's lots of stuff been going on.
Yeah, true. Who knows? Maybe a bit of a brawl between you and Sean?
Nah.
No,
Of
that's
course
not
not.
happened. No. So what do we got next?
Well, I don't know, we'll jump straight into the talking points, I think. We've got a few things to talk about.
So I had a point first, which was about, well, something that's bothered me for a little while is Kieran's ruck situation. Alright, so we're talking about Murphy's Law here.
Worse than yours?
Surprisingly, yes.
Wow.
Alright, so
It's surprising.
my ruck situation, as everyone knows, is horrible, but we've got Murphy's Law starting Nathan Vardy as their number 1 ruck. A guy who I think got to maybe 40 points this week at best.
Didn't I drop that guy?
You did drop that guy.
Okay.
And now, and his situation is peculiar because he didn't actually draft Nathan Vardy. So
No.
it's like, wait, did he have a max score and they got injured? No. What happened was that at the end of the draft, Kieran decided to draft 3 rucks with his last 6 picks. He got Leuenberger, he got Zach Smith, and he got Scott Lysett. And what
I think we drafted Scott Lysett for him.
Right, we did. Yeah.
Just
Yeah, so that was a pick that, so Kieran had left the draft and we thought that would be a good one to get him. And that's where it gets even more bizarre. So, the two guys he drafted, he promptly dropped, and they got picked up and they became actually starting ruckmen for their respective teams.
right. Zach Smith as well.
Zach Smith, yeah. Nick's been starting that guy.
Cool.
Had a pretty dud week this week, but regardless. And he decided to keep Scott Lysett, who at the time of the draft was out for 12 weeks.
Is he still out for 12 weeks?
Well, it's out for a long time. And it's just a really bizarre situation where he could have had some decent rucks, decided to keep the one that wasn't going to play anytime soon,
and dick.
and now he's stuck with Nathan Vardy. Really can't fathom why he's done that, why he didn't stick it out with Leuenberger, who, when he was just injured for a couple of weeks. Very bizarre set of circumstances.
He was already injured when he picked him in the draft.
He was injured, but it was just like a short term,
Yeah.
like 1 or 2 weeks.
Alright.
Yeah, so who knows what happened there? I don't know, Kieran. Please explain.
In a video.
Yeah. They're not going to give you videos, man.
Well, someone might eventually.
Or at least please get a better ruckman. I think my situation's bad, but yours makes me even sadder.
Well, that could take us into another point. Another talking point.
Mm-hmm.
He could do a trade.
Yeah.
How many trades have we had this year?
We've had 5. And it is a good point. So, yeah.
That's the point. We've only had 5 trades for the whole year. I mean, I'm not the one that can be talking about this because I'm not the one. I'm not a very heavy trader.
No, you're not. I think you've done 1 trade in the whole time we've had the league. No.
There's been at least 3. One of them got vetoed.
Sorry, one trade last season.
Yeah.
Yeah, my bad.
It was 2 the year before.
You've had a few more.
One got vetoed.
Yeah.
But I believe you've been involved in 3 of the 5 trades this year.
I have.
Equal highest with Ian.
That's right.
Yes. But at the same point last year, how many trades were there?
We'd had 13 trades done by this point. I've been involved in 4 of those. Ian had been involved in 5 of those.
Right.
So it was still, the guys making most of the trades. Asher had been involved quite a bit. But more of the league was really getting going.
Yeah, so up to round 6, there was 13 trades.
Well, I don't know what's going on. People are really reluctant to trade. Maybe there's a bit of an embargo going on. I haven't been offered anything, so I don't know if there's people are talking behind my back, or if I just got a bad reputation. I don't know what's going on.
But another thing that I noticed is that there's no longer a trade table on Ultimate Footy.
Yeah, which sucks.
So I don't remember if that was there last year. Or if that's something that got taken away last year and it just hasn't been around for a while. But that was where you could put out I'm interested in trading this guy if you're interested in making an offer.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure probably facilitated a few extra trades.
It was useful. We've also got Facebook.
Well, yeah, we do. So make your own trade table.
If you need something, you can always shout out there. Is there anything at the moment that you're looking for, Shane? If people wanted to facilitate a trade with you?
Mids.
Yeah?
Mids averaging over 90.
Well, it's funny because the position I probably want to give away the most is mids, but I need a ruck as no surprise to anybody.
Yeah, I don't have that.
No.
Campbell might play this week.
No, that's helpful.
You want to give me a 90 mid?
Bell Chambers might play this week. We'll see how that goes.
I mean, I've got really good forwards, so if you want to have a look at my forwards, make an offer that's not ridiculous. See what we can do.
Yeah.
And we can get a 6th trade.
I've been throwing out offers though. Have you thrown up any offers?
1 or 2.
Yeah, I've heard they have, which is surprising.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe we can ask our audience to let us know about any offers they've at least been offered.
Mm-hmm.
Offers that have been offered?
Offers offered, yes.
Yeah, because it's, it looks pretty bleak out there in the trading circles, but at least let us know about what's, what's been thrown at you.
I've only been offered 1.
And we can evaluate them on the show and figure out what's going on, and yeah, let's get a little bit of trade talk actually happening.
Sounds good.
Cool. So the other big thing that's happened this week are the position changes that have taken place.
Big thing.
Yes. We expected probably more than what happened. It was, every 3 weeks you come along, you get the big position changes.
Hope for something exciting.
Yeah, I mean...
Complain when there's something
hopefully
exciting.
for your team, and complain when it's something that happens for someone else's team. We had obviously Robbie Gray, the big one last week, but there were a few other, defenders added.
Yeah, and you were...
last 3 weeks.
I'm pretty sure you were banking on some ruck additions this
Well,
week.
that's the thing. So Ultimate Footy went out there and said, look, we're being more lenient. That's why we let Robbie Gray be a forward. We're going to be more lenient with the rucks as well. We're going to actually relax the rule. People that aren't just the prominent ruck, the second ruck, going to get ruck status. People like Blitzarves, for example, who had a great little trade going with Asher and...
all hinged on whether he's going to get a ruck.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's unlucky.
And I've got to say, the position changes were pretty disappointing. There wasn't really much out there that was significant. There was one.
Hoskin Elliott?
All those centres. All those players getting centre added. Very important flexibility options. No, Lockie Weller.
Right.
So he's a guy that I actually drafted. I drafted him thinking that he might get back status.
Promptly got rid of him.
And,
for a defender.
He wasn't playing there at the start of the season. I got rid of him for Jamie McClellan, you're right. And turns out that, so the last 3 games he's been playing some sort of sweeper role, and now he gets back status. And,
But yeah, I think out of all those position changes, there's nothing really too much to talk about. It's just useful for the people that already have them.
Yeah, I think there'll be hopefully some bigger changes coming up in 3 weeks.
But there's one, Blake Hardwick is still available to pick up off the waivers, who is now a defender forward.
Ooh,
Yeah.
looks like Zane Cordy last time.
He's still available.
Well, Shane, I know who you're looking out for. That'll fix all your problems.
I need the centre status.
You need a lot of... So, our next point comes up to injuries. So, there was one really significant injury this week. Ian Mills, it's a short thing, had Nick Haynes, who he drafted. He had a couple of low scores to start with, but he kept the faith with him. Mm-hmm. And over his last 3 games, and this is including his injured game, he was actually averaging 99 points. He had two tons in there, going pretty damn well, looking like a great pick. And then
goes and does the splits.
Yeah, and looking like 10 weeks, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, so it's a while.
It looks pretty painful too. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but yeah, I heard. Well, it's not something you really want to think about.
No.
So 10 weeks. It's an unfortunate one for him because he made a good pick. But is that droppable territory now?
With keepers, it's tough.
That's the thing. If it wasn't a keeper league, I think, you get rid of him.
But Millsy's not carrying anyone at the moment. He loves carrying injured players for the whole year, so he's used to it. And he's probably feeling empty without having that guy taking up his bench.
He wants a
position.
void in his team.
He'll probably be pretty happy.
A little talisman that he can keep there. Yeah, why not, Millsy? I mean, it's not going to drop him, is he?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
But I think the fortunate thing is that was the only injury that came out of this week, so we'll move on. So, next point.
I believe that you may have missed the news this afternoon.
Okay, yeah.
Captain of the Brisbane Lions, Mr. Dane Beams.
What?
3 weeks with a calf injury.
3?
Yeah.
When did this come out?
4 o'clock this afternoon.
What? Oh, come on. Really? Well, I don't know what you're pointing to. It's just pointing to a blank screen. Alright.
You can go to technical difficulties now. You can put that thing up that you put last week.
Okay, so he's out for 3 weeks. Yeah, that's just what I needed, just to add to my stockpile of injured people. I already said my team is going to be called the Bench Ward.
Well, it's getting...
Maybe it should be the hospital ward instead.
Toby Green, yeah, it's not an injury, but he's gone for 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's... One day, I dream of a time where I'll have all my players actually taking the field all at once.
And it'll actually
in harmony.
Be quite scary when that happens.
Yeah.
If that happens.
Well, thankfully this week I actually have a few people coming back, so they might be able to feel my beams whole. But damn, that is annoying. Okay, and so we had a bit of a viewer question, viewer talking point as well. So Nick of Xenophobia was...
No, wait. Did you have to do the action? No.
No, we decided...
Right. Okay.
Cutting that out, man. So Nick asks, has the Danger Zone had the unluckiest start to a season that we've seen? So currently, he has just come off of a win.
First win.
But he still sits second last on the ladder, and he has the 5th most points scored. Behind him is my co-host here, Cornflakes, sitting also with just 1 win from 6 games, but with the 6th highest points scored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 4th last week.
Yeah.
So I've obviously gone downhill.
So you've really dropped off. You've got even more unlucky.
My luck is,
is running out fast.
Yeah.
Basically.
So I'm wasting good scores on losing games. So now I'm going to get shit scores and I'm... Oh, this is horrible. Anyway, what did you come up with?
Okay, so first of all, yes, they were both very unlucky.
Yes, Max, actually I should mention that Max came in to bat for me and told Nick that I'm even unluckier than Scratch.
And as Nick mentioned, we can't just be talking about ourselves. Can't wallow in our own misery too much. And it is very unlucky. Above them sits Cam, who has scored like 800 points less than them or something. So it must be a terrible place to be, knowing that Cam, with his scores of like 1200s lately, is doing better than you.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Going back to talking about myself again.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Cam got like 1200 against you, 1600 against me, and then like 1200 the next 2 weeks after that. Nilsy comes, he plays you, he gets 1420.
Yeah.
Plays me, he got 1650. This week he got 1430 again. I mean, what's going on, you guys?
I don't know, man.
He's like putting up all these big games against me.
Well, they just take a bit of a rest against me. You know, they're not going to win anyway.
Yeah,
so
as the newsroom,
for you.
As the newsroom's saying, Nilsy gets 1430 this week.
Yeah.
And beats Cam. He's got the second lowest score of the week, and he gets a win.
Right, we'll touch on this. We'll touch on this in a sec.
Yeah, okay.
But let me finish off the point for Nick. So, look, I couldn't really access results for the last couple of years. It was very difficult to delve into the archives.
It's not very helpful.
No.
Just last year.
But comparing the starts of those two teams from last year, so the Danger Zone actually won their first 6 games last year.
They won most of their games last year.
Yeah, except for the important one.
The one they needed.
But, so, huge turnaround there. But then there was you.
Yeah, there was.
And you lost 4 of your first 6 games.
Yep.
Which was unlucky. You had actually scored well.
Yeah.
But then you still made finals.
Yes.
Yeah. So, without really answering Nick's question at all, I think we're just going to pose a new one.
Yeah, so we saw this research and we came up with how many games do you actually need to win to make it into the finals.
Yeah.
So at the moment I'm 5 games. I've already lost 5 games.
You have lost, yeah. And so last year you lost 4, but you made it into finals.
Yeah. So with our limited statistics, going all the way back to 2014, the 6th place team had 11 wins from the 20 games. 2015, they also had 11 wins, but it was only 19 games.
Yeah, we played finals a week earlier.
Yeah. Why would we do that? Oh, who cares? And 2016...
Because of frickin' North Melbourne.
Yeah, North Melbourne.
They ruined it for everyone.
Freo.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then last year, it was 10 of 20 was 6th place. So
50%.
Roughly 50%.
That's what you're shooting for.
So I've already lost half the games I can lose
Yeah.
for the year.
You lose another 5 and you're pretty much done for.
Right.
But with that logic, I mean, any time until you've lost your 10th game,
I'm not giving up.
you're not giving up. Well, you're an
Yeah.
optimistic kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even I'm 1 and 9, I've still got a chance.
Yeah, well, there was that year when you finished second last and you thought you could still make finals, even when it wasn't
It's like-
mathematically possible.
I'm not that bad.
Okay.
I can count.
And then one hand, though.
At the moment. But it's fine. I can't have any more losses.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
going to start winning
That's
this
as
week.
much as he can take.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is sort of getting to that point where you would consider, you know, whether you can win the season. I know there's going to be some trades thrown around this year, which will probably be trying to entice people like yourself or the Danger Zone who are out of finals contention. I guess what we're saying is you're not out of it yet. Give it a few rounds still.
I mean, I will have, if I'm totally out of contention, a juicy Nick Rewald sitting there in my forward line. It's about the only good player that I have.
Zach Merritt?
Yeah, but like I'm ever giving him up.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what you'd be able to give me to get Zach Merritt.
like whole draft for next year. How's that?
Well, let's think about it.
Given that the two of you are actually at the bottom of the ladder, I think it's, and you know, the two unlucky teams, I think it's pretty apt that the two of you are playing this week.
Yeah.
And that's the feature match for this week. Basically the battle for the wooden spoon, as it were, or the battle for the unluckiest team, because one of you is going to be sitting there with 1 win, 6 losses, and probably more points scored than, you know, the 4 or 5 teams above you.
Yeah.
So that's going to hurt.
Yes, it
So
will.
are you doing all you can to make sure that's not you, Shane?
Well, have you seen my wholesale changes? 4
No.
free agents
Oh, yeah?
up this week. Well, I mean, it probably doesn't actually help me this week. 2 of them.
How many
might
have been playing? Yeah.
3 of them might not even play, but I'm trying.
And with the logic of what you were saying earlier, so every team that I've faced has had thrown up a bit of a dud against me, thrown up an amazing score against Shane. If that continues this week, if you call the Danger Zones, you know, 16-70 a dud, then what the hell do you have in store this week?
Well, maybe it's going to reverse itself this time.
I would hope so.
I would
man,
hope
for your
so too.
sake.
I mean, he is projected to beat me by 150 odd points, but, you know, I've got hope.
Ben Brown can't get 115 twice, right?
No,
Ben Brown can't strike twice.
no. I'm confident, but I wouldn't be surprised if I lose.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be if I was you, man. But good luck. I mean, it's probably not a very important match. It's just a wooden spoon, scribe. It's a scribe match.
A scribe match.
Yeah.
Nah.
No,
Scribe is like the last place in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get that.
no, keep the faith, man. I don't want you moping around here. We need an energetic and enthusiastic host, so let's go for this guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve. Yes, I guess we'll see how that ends up. But that brings us to a close. I won't be here next week, so there'll be no show. I'm jet setting.
Shit.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
You're going to Fiji.
What?
Yeah. That's what I told you.
Thought you did too.
Yeah.
I forgot. There you go. Fiji.
Yeah, man.
Film from there. We do it. Link.
Alright, sure. Alright, yeah, I'll send you a little something while I'm sipping some cocktails on the beaches.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, man. I don't even care how my team does.
I'll leave that when I see it.
Yeah. I don't know what they say in Fiji, but adios. As usual.
See you later.
What do they say in Fiji? It's Fijian language. I should learn some things before I go.
Yeah.
Is that good acting with the Dean Beams?
I feel like it's going to be obvious that you know, but that's alright.
Is it? Damn it. Yeah, what are you saying? I'm not a good actor? I'm not an Oscar. I'm not an Oscar nominated performance right there. And
Maybe a Razzie.